Greetings and welcome to the Introduction to Astronomy. In this week's Astronomy of Other Cultures, we continue our discussion of Muslim astronomy, and we're going to talk about Ibn Bajja and his contributions to science and astronomy. So let's go ahead and get started. And Ibn Bajja, also known by the Latinized version of the name of Avempace, lived from about 1085 until 1138. And he's known for work on astronomy, physics, and botany. And in fact, for botany, one of the first things we can look at, he wrote the Kitab al-Nabat, which was the Book of Plants. And he studied the classification of plants as well as looking at their medicinal uses. So one of the things we do find with many of the people early on in this era is that they did not focus on just one thing in many ways as we do today, but he did a lot of work in botany as well as work in astronomy and physics. So we want to look at, of course, is the astronomy section, and what he's known for in astronomy is his critique of Ptolemy. And one of the issues they had was the use of things like the eccentrics and the epicycles. So the eccentric here is the dot on the other side of the center of everything from the Earth. And that was where everything appeared to move around at a uniform speed. That allowed us to account for things like variation of the speeds of the planets in their orbits because of the positioning there. Now, that was not very well liked because it was very artificial. And there were also the epicycles, which we see up towards the top here, where the planet did not directly orbit around Earth, but instead went on a small circle on top of another circle as it went around. That allowed account for retrograde motion. Now, as a model, these actually worked pretty well. Something like this, which is what Ptolemy gave us, worked pretty well for being able to explain how things moved in the sky. But one of the problems that were coming up here is the difference between reality. What was really happening? And as people began to try to understand more how the universe worked, it was very difficult to accept things like the eccentrics and the epicycles as reality, although they worked well as a model for being able to make predictions. So we're getting here, we're starting to get close to moving the Earth away from the center. We're not there yet, that'll still take several hundred years. But we're starting to have issues with the way things work here and to figure out how to be better able to explain things. Now, one of the other things that he looked at was our Milky Way. Now, one of the things that he understood was that the Milky Way, as pictured here in a more modern image, we see our Milky Way stretching up, but Ibn Bajja did consider the Milky Way to be part of the celestial realm. It was not something within our own sky, it was actually out there, part of the starry sphere. He also suggested that it was made up of combined light of stars. So all of the stars that you see, those fuzzy patches there, are actually the lights of many more stars, which was again another break with Aristotle and there being a finite number of stars in the universe. And this is something that Galileo would see a few centuries later when he turned his telescope toward the Milky Way and was able to see that, yes, indeed, it was made up of stars. So let's go ahead and finish up with our summary, and what we've looked at today was Ibn Bajja, and who lived from about 1085 to 1138, known for work in astronomy, physics, as well as botany and other fields, and is well known for his critique of the Ptolemy for his model not representing reality. While it may be a model that worked for predictions, it was not one that actually represented the reality of the universe as we were coming to understand it. So that concludes this discussion of Ibn Bajja and his contributions to astronomy and other fields. We'll be back again next week for another astronomer of the Muslim world. So until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.